Also, in another West African state, Mauritania, the jailing of the former president Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz, accused of breaking the terms of his house arrest. He, just a few hours before he was detained, spoke with France 24's Marc Perelman, who joins us now, denies any wrongdoing. The former president, who was in power for 11 years and who had put what he thought was a protege in his place.
Yes, absolutely. This was supposed to be a smooth transition in Mauritania after years of counter coups, and really democracy was far away. This was supposed to be a smooth transition. Why? Because they were comrades in arms. Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz and Mohamed Ould Ghazouani, who succeeded him,
both military men.
Both military men, but elected as civilians, and this didn't happen, of course, the way they had planned, because they had a falling out, essentially, when the outgoing president realized that he still wanted to have a say on political affairs, and his successors basically said no. And since then, we've seen a long-running investigation and charges, very serious charges against Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz of corruption, misuse of public funds, and so on. 12 different charges. There's no trial right now because the outgoing president says, as a former president, I have immunity. So this is still in the hands of the prosecution. But in the meantime, he was, until yesterday night, until a few hours, 2 hours after I interviewed him, under house arrest. Now he has been accused of breaking the terms of his house arrest because he was supposed to go 3 times a week to the police, and as the month went by, his supporters, he says hundreds of them, the government says a couple of dozen, used to go with him. And there were some scuffles with the police. And the last 2 times he was supposed to go to the police station, he didn't go because he said the police was going after his supporters, and so he wouldn't go. And this is why yesterday night, 2 hours after I interviewed him, and this is not because I interviewed him or whatever he said during that interview, but 2 hours after, the judge sent the police told him, you did not go to the police station as you should have, so now you're going to jail. So right now he's sitting in jail. We don't know how long, but clearly the core issue is the disagreement he has with the outgoing president. And in the interview, he did say, maybe in the most direct way, that the person behind his legal trouble was his successor. Take a listen.
They have no evidence against me. They can't prove anything. It's a settling of scores. I blame him. I blame all of his government. I blame all his relations to be at the origin of this.
What else did he tell you?
Well, obviously, this was the most direct attack, because until then, he had said, the authorities are going after me. What he did yesterday is that he pointed finger at the president. He said this was coming from the very top. This was not the justice system, because the authorities basically are saying, we're going after corruption. This is what...
So you had a sense this was coming to a head?
Yes. I told him in the interview, where do you see this going? Because you have this major confrontation, because the former president says it's a political vendetta. The authorities are saying, no, this is just justice doing its work. This obviously couldn't continue the way it was continuing, because as we saw, the former president was still speaking his mind. And so he did say that there was nothing wrong, that all the facts had been checked, that he didn't steal money from the government funds and so on. And we also touched upon a sensitive issue, the situation in the Sahel, because obviously Mauritania is sitting in the front row of this region where there's a lot of violence, uncertainty, especially as the French are about to pull back from that area, or at least partially.
It's a lot of fires for France right now in the region. If you look at its allies in the fight against the insurgents, you've got Mali, where they're not at all pleased with the recent coup within a coup, if you will. The killing on the battlefield of Chad's longtime strongman, and now this. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And you add this to a deteriorating security situation, the lack of European support, despite claims to the contrary that, yes, the European special forces are coming. This is not happening. So, yes, there is concern of a security vacuum. And the former president told me that he was concerned because he said the strategy was wrong, that France wanted to go there to fight the jihadists. And he said that he also supported the calls we've heard in Mali, in Burkina Faso, to engage some of the local groups, not the foreign fighters, but those who are from Mali, those who are from Burkina Faso. He said, you know, we can't fight them. We've done this for 10 years. It hasn't worked. France and others have to acknowledge that this is the reality on the ground. This is our neighborhoods, and we have to take care of this because war forever can't be the solution.
Just very briefly, the official position of France, be it in Mali or Mauritania, is you don't speak to any of the insurgents. But is that really their position?
Well, this is the official position. He said, really, the bad guys, you don't talk to them. But the bad guys, those who may be brought back to the fold, we may look the other way. And so right now, it seems that France is sending messages that are not totally coherent. They're saying, officially, we don't talk. But on the other side, they see that there is no military solution to this problem. They want troops back on home soil very soon. And so if they go, they have to find a political solution. And it might be with people they don't like, they don't want to talk to. But in the end, you only make peace with your enemies.
All right, many thanks, Marc Perelman.